Hey, what's up, YouTube? In my last video, I had asked everybody if they were interested in seeing a full-length tank gameplay, and I got quite a few messages from people saying, hey, we wanted to see the whole thing. So for those of you who are not interested in a full-length tank grind, go ahead and skip to the next video right now, because this is definitely a long video. And since it is so long, I did invite one of my buddies that I was playing with in this game, actually, who was in the tank with me. Colonel's in here. Say hello, Colonel.
Hello.
And basically, we're just going to be talking about, we're going to be watching this video, and we're going to be talking about kind of the aspects of how to drive a tank in Battlefield, and then how that works. You have to be, you know, as you can see here, we typically like to tank in the aspect of using the tank as a distraction rather than using the tank as a forward weapon. You need to view it more as artillery than you need to view it as a transportation up to the front of the base.
Yeah, a lot of guys, they'll be a sniper, they'll get into a tank, drive it right up to the front of the enemy base, and then get out and try to arm the crate and get killed, and so they've effectively just handed over a brand new tank to the enemy team, which is pretty stupid.
Yeah, that's probably the worst thing you can do, is use the tank as transportation and drive it up to the front. I've seen so many people do that in the past. They think, oh, I'm just going to get in there and arm it real quick and hop back in the tank. Well, invariably what happens is you take it up there, you drug the tank, you arm the crate, someone shoots you in the face, and that's the end of that.
Yeah, there's basically two ways to use a tank, like what you're going to see in this video, where we sit back and pound the base, shell the base, get everybody to look at us. Or if you're on a team, you're attacking, and you just can't seem to break through, well, you hop into a tank, drive it up, break through their lines, get everybody distracted on you. I mean, basically knowing you're going to go down with the ship in the back of their base, and get everybody to look at you and allow your team some little bit of a break to move up and then push into their base. But that's sort of a last-ditch effort when nobody on your team's able to move up because of snipers and all of that sort of stuff.
And you'll see too, as we go through this video, the entire team's going to be focusing on us as we're tanking. And you know, being a good tank team is not a glory position. It's pretty boring. This is why I hate core mode. As you can see there, an entire clip in that guy's back.
Hit. Nothing. Yeah, there we go. Just reload, start again.
It's not bad. I play both modes, but hey, you know, those of you who watch my videos know I prefer core. And Colonel's the same way. It's just our
Hardcore,
preference.
you prefer hardcore.
Yeah, I prefer hardcore. It's the preference. Anyways, the whole point of having a tank is to distract the enemy team. So if the entire team is shooting rockets at us, perfect. We're doing what we're doing right. And a lot of people view it as tank whoring, and oh, you're sitting out in the back, you're such a pussy, and blah, 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 blah. And it's really not that. It's really the fact that you're attempting to get the rest of the team to focus on you. And if they're not focusing on you, it's because you're not killing them enough. So it's imperative that you get in there and you just kill people with tanks. And as you're going to see a lot in this video, and Harvest Tape was really built well to use the terrain to your advantage in the tank. Put yourself in a position, like as you're going to see right here, a tank can be firing on us, but we move back 10 feet and we're able to heal our vehicle. So another point is here too, if you're gunning as for a tanker and he gets hit, you should be out of the tank fixing while the round is still in the air. There's no reason.
Okay. A couple of things that just happened on the video. Like, one, if you're machine gunning and you get into a tank battle, you're the guy that hops out. The machine gunner hops out and fixes. And a good tank team should just know that right off the bat. And on the opposite, if there's a bunch of infantry guys shooting rockets at you and you're getting hit a bunch, well, then the guy shooting the main gun, the driver, he needs to get out so that that machine gunner can start wiping out the infantry. And also, since we're using hardcore, a good tactic to use if you can, or since we're playing core, excuse me, since there's no friendly fire, if you're fixing the tank, just get behind it, and if the driver's got to back up, it's not like he's going to run over you, he's just going to push you back with the tank. On the video there, Llama didn't get a chance to get behind the tank before he got blown up, but that's a pretty good tactic to use.
Yeah. Which also brings up another point, that that your artillery is worth more than your life. So just keep that in mind. If you step in front of a Carl Gustav round to save the tank, so be it, man. If it gives him another 2 seconds to get that tank back without it dying, you losing a tank in a forward push is the nail in the coffin for a lot of tank gameplay. So you need to really protect that asset for your team much more than again, people who drive it up and abandon it in the front. It's just the exact same thing as somebody who goes all willy-nilly and doesn't have someone to fix his tank.
Yeah, and go down with the ship. I mean, if you got 2% health and there's a rocket coming in on you and it's locked in and you can manage to get out right before it hits, good on you. But don't get out of a tank when there's still 30% health left and just leave it out in the battlefield for some enemy engineer to run over there and fix it. Now they've got 3 tanks while you've only got 1.
I can't even tell you how many times on Port Valdez we've been playing and some idiot drives his tank down and gets out of it because it's about to blow up. It's got 2% health. And we were able to get in it and back the thing up behind something and fix it in time. Yeah, and that map especially, if you got a tank on defense in that map, that's over. The game's done. So, it's crazy that some of the stupidity of people dropping off one of their most important pieces. And again, this is one of the things that separates Battlefield from the rest of the pack is all the vehicle gameplay. The vehicles are a very important aspect of this. I know a lot of you ground pounders are just like, oh, blah 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 blah, tanks are that important. Well, you wouldn't be able to push through Harvest Day or Oasis without tank drivers that knew what they were doing. And that's
tanks are super important pieces in this chess game. If you use them right, you're gonna wreak a lot of havoc on the battlefield.
Yeah. A few of the things that we wanted to look at here is kind of the interaction between the responsibilities of each individual person, and this is from. I don't want you guys to think that we're like arrogant and we think we're the best tankers in the world or whatever, but we've got a few hundred hours between the two of us playing in tanks on Battlefield Bad Company 1 and Bad Company 2. And the stuff we're talking about is stuff just from experience that we've learned over the years of how to actually effectively drive your tank and work as a team. And the tank itself is a completely team-oriented piece of device. As you could see, as the gunner, when I'm playing as the gunner in this one, and I really wanted you guys to see the gunner footage so that you could understand like how important that role is. The tank, having a good tank driver absolutely is paramount. But if you've got a good tank driver with a good gunner, it's just an incredible asset to the team.
And that's the best position, I think, is the machine gunner. I mean, you get way more kills, right? Shooting the machine gun. Yeah. You get out, you get all those fix-it points. You're constantly doing things while the driver, I mean, he can get a couple of good shots, but that machine gunner's where it's at. And that whole tank is a tank without a gunner is pretty useless. It's like a Lamborghini without an engine. You got to have 2 people in a tank to use it right.
As you can see, this idiot up here dropping tanks or dropping mines in front of us. That is something that, as a gunner, that you really, and again, communication between the driver and the gunner is absolutely huge. Every time I see a mine, I'm like, stop, or we're getting mortared. You need to let them know, because from the time a sniper drops a mortar on you, and you have enough time, if you look and you see, hey, we're getting mortared, you can back up and back out of that without taking any damage. Now, also the first time you feel or see a mortar strike round hit you, and you start backing up immediately, you can back out of the mortar strikes and live most of the time. Unless it's that wonky BS where Battlefield likes to yank you back into mortar strikes or they follow you, which does happen from time to time.
And if you call it out, you just dropped a mortar on us and you start moving, and that mortar comes down while you're moving, your chances of, I don't know what it is, but it's something about your vehicle being in motion as those things starting to hit. You know, maybe one or two of those mortars will hit you, and you'll come out. You'll only have like 20 or 30 damage done to you, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, because mortar strikes can be pretty devastating. But for the most part, if you know what you're doing, the mortar strikes are really an ineffective thing unless they stack them. If you got 2 or 3 guys mortar striking you at once, you're just going to die. And that's that. But typically, you're not going to find a bunch of randoms that are going to be that coordinated to do something like that. But anyways, back to the gunner. The importance of the gunner being able to have situational awareness and tell the driver exactly what's going on, because the gunner has a much better field of view than the tank driver does, and when we play together, typically the gunner does a lot more directing of traffic than the actual driver does, because he does have a better view. He has a better idea of situational awareness of what's going on around him, and you want to communicate that to your tank driver all the time. So, you know, like right here, I mean, this is pretty vicious. We ran in there and we stole their tank, or they're stealing it right now. As you can see, that was an example of us moving out of a mortar strike. And we're communicating who's going to jump out and fix. And, you know, since you have a limited amount of time to fix, one of us will jump out and then the other one will jump out and finish the rest of it if we take a lot of damage like we did in that case.
A little bit of tandem tank fixing.
Yeah, we were playing with this guy on Civil back here as well, who was in our party, and he was like, hey, come back and fix me real quick. So we jumped back there and did that, which, you know, again, is another thing, because he had some random guy in his tank that, you know, it was. So these guys, at this point in time, I mean, this whole section right here is pretty brutal. They're just taking it.
Yeah, and a good thing about that machine gunner is he can zoom in, because we only use Warhead. I know we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a couple minutes, but we only use Warhead on the tanks. We don't use zoom for the drivers or any of that stuff. So that machine gunner, he can zoom in, and he can, well, in core, he can put red triangles over everybody's heads and then light them up. And then,
yeah,
you know, the gunner
core,
can, yeah, direct fire onto them.
If you're playing core, you can spam that back button all day. And again, those of you who are kind of new to this channel, we typically only play hardcore, but we've had a lot of requests lately to do some core gameplay. So we've been playing core for the last couple of weeks, and you know, it's been kind of fun, but it's so easy to tank in core because everybody's got red triangles above their head. You just point and shoot. But it was messing you up in this game. This is one of our first ones back to core, wasn't it?
I think this was our first tank, our first tanking as a team in core, and it was my first driving, you know, the first one where I drove a tank, and those markers above people's heads, especially on the tanks, it was throwing my depth perception off. You notice that a lot of my shots are falling short because I'm shooting at the orange triangles because I can't see the guys, whereas in core or hardcore, you know, you got to search and look for the guys. I don't know, it was easier for me to gauge depth, or distance rather, without the triangles. But don't get me wrong, it's a hell of a lot easier to find the guys with the bright orange markers telling me where they're at.
Yeah, and this is kind of, now we're going to do some tank to tank, and this is kind of one of the areas I wanted to talk about. Is we always, in Vietnam, in hardcore, in core, in every mode that we play this, we always run Warhead. And the reason for that is because we don't typically get in tanks without a partner. Because, I mean, there's really no point. You need to let somebody go who has an engineer with them and who has a team with them to be able to properly manage that. So we won't take vehicles that, if we're by ourselves, typically.
Or, you know, unless we know that somebody's going to spawn in our vehicle, that sort of deal.
Yeah, and there's some
Look
mines
at all
there.
those mines.
So one of the things that we've found over the years is that, or through in Battlefield 2 anyways, or I'm sorry, Bad Company 2, is that if you have Warhead and you have someone, as soon as you start getting hit by mines or by another tank, you jump out and start fixing that thing with Warhead on. It doesn't matter if he's got somebody fixing him and he's got armor on, the Warhead tank will still win. Just stand your ground and let your gunner fix you and just hit him with the Warhead and you'll win 3 or 4 shots tops.
Yeah,
it's
and
just, it's just what we found.
that's the thing too. If you've got a gunner or a gunner, a gunner, if you've got somebody fixing you and you got Warhead on, stand your ground, sit there and take it, and shoot back. Cause 9 times out of 10, those guys their little buzzer starts going on their tank, and they freak out and start backing up and try to evade your shots. You're not gonna miss if you're standing still and take your time and hit them on the move. Just let your guy fix. Don't freak out, and make those shots count.
Yeah, and I think this is the part here. We were watching this earlier. We were laughing our asses off at this guy on our team here. The bridge is out. I mean, it's really obvious the bridge is out in front of us. So, I mean, some of our teammates go and jump off this, but this guy next to us is just going to drive his tank off it. Like, I got this, guys. I'm going. I got this.
I don't know. He doesn't have enough speed. I don't know.
You think he was going to jump it or what?
He didn't make it.
Obvious death is obvious.
Yeah.
But yeah, some people do some random stuff. Now, you should never take. The 30 mils are kind of expendable. The little tank he was driving, so I don't really see a problem with taking that into the village. But if you've gotten a big tank up this far, it would be dumb to take it into that village before it's taken. Because you can sit back here for the most part and cause more drama for the other team than you would if you took it inside. And if your team's advancing, you should be all right.
And there's so many more. You drive that tank up into the middle of that base while they still own it. There's so many angles for them to hit you from where you can't hit them back. And so it's not very smart to take it up in there.
And you'll see, absolutely true.
Here in a couple minutes, I break my own rule. I try to never take the tank up into the city, but you'll see, I break my own rule and it failed.
Yeah, and the thing is too is that we almost never drive down main roads unless we have to. To get to the next part, you pretty much have to go through either the left or the right on this map, and we really do not like driving down roads. We'll run over houses, we'll blow up buildings, we'll do whatever we do to drive over basically off-road areas so that we don't have to go through areas that guys have laid C4 down and that guys have laid tank mines down and stuff like that. You stay off the beaten path and it's a lot safer than it is going through the roads. Like going through here the whole time, we're scanning around looking because some dude's going to pop out with C4 and that's that.
Yeah. And going the other way, I try to never drive through water. If I cannot drive through water, I'll go around. Ooh, this is a great part.
You idiots.
Oh, just line up and take it. Yeah.
Just take it, guys. Take it. So, but I mean, we're obviously, gonna win this game, and this is the end of the tank part coming up here, as you can see, right in front of us in the bushes there, which neither one of us see as tank mines.
Yeah, now I see it. Now I see it plain as day. That I'm looking back on it. That guy actually put him in a decent spot in that shadow.
Yeah, it's really hard
right
to
out
see
in the open. Yeah, right out in the open, and yet really hard for us to see.
So that was the end of our tanking for this. If I was him, I'd have been dropping the salties in the kill cam after getting pwned like that all game. So, anyways, that's pretty much how we roll with tanks. And, oh, I'm going to get on a Jeep here. That's kind of scary. Or the little four-wheeler.
Yeah, when we were watching this earlier, I was telling Llama that I'll get into a tank with him any day of the week, but four-wheelers not so much. So I'm riding on the back here, and then I realize, oh crap, Llama's driving. Peace out. And then
I just ran over mines.
Yeah, he just runs over mines.
And a
drives
dude
through a guy.
It's so dumb. Oh, whatever. It looks kind of epic in the end here. Yeah, I typically am not very smart when I get on one of those vehicles.
But you made it, and you knifed someone, got some gold tags.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, this was a hard match the whole way through. I mean, it was just, you could tell the other guys they were getting frustrated because they were playing dumb, but they were actually, they were trying. The team didn't quit and they were trying, so I got to give it to them. And this guy's gonna get hit with the Gustav and live. Unreal. Oh yeah, I just take Gustavs all day long, bro. Unreal, man. Never understand that. So,
But
some of the
we are
tactics I like
whooping
to...
their ass, so you can't
Yeah,
complain
it's-
too much.
Yeah, exactly. You know, typically when we're back behind enemy lines like this, you want to stay as live as much as possible, and then kind of cover the area. You can see here, their team's kind of lost their will. We're almost in an L-shaped pattern around the crate. So they're at this point in time, they're done. There's really nothing they can do. So, but overall, it was a good game. We had fun. We've been playing this a lot more, and we're probably going to be doing a little bit more commentaries when it comes to Battlefield here in the near future. Definitely looking forward to Battlefield 3.
Oh yeah.
So, thanks for watching, everyone, and we will see you in the future.
Goodbye.